Hello, hello, and welcome to the Kill Your Gods podcast. My name is Jesse Draham, and I'm your host. This is going. My wife just yelled, ow. That's right, you heard that right. Guys, I'm fucking married. I got married last weekend, May 1st. It was amazing. I have the best bride in all the seven kingdoms. I love my Perri. Uh, so yeah, because obviously wedding, honeymoon. I'm technically still on my honeymoon now. We're taking like 3 individual short trips. But yeah. So because this is happening, I thought, you know what? We have all these Game of Thrones episodes in the can. I'm gonna put out half of them. Like we'll just put out 1, 2, 3, 4 real quick. If you saw, I put up Game of Thrones season 2 just randomly last week. I edited the start date for the first Game of Thrones episode that we put up, so it will be right next to the second one in the queue. And you're listening to episode 3, and I think I'm just going to throw up episode 4 in a few days, and this will hold you guys over until we come back with original content next week. Don't worry, no books for the time being. All I can say is listen to the Beatles, listen to some pop punk, maybe go listen to some new metal, because I think that's what we have coming up, in case you need any, prepper. You can find me, as always, at Jesse Draham on all the things, at Jesse Draham on gmail.com. I think Perri is Perri Lerner on Instagram. I don't know. And special thanks, I don't know if he wants me to put his last name out there. Special thanks to John G. John Silent G. 'Cause I can no longer be a silent G. Hell yeah. New Kids on the Block. Great Latter-day Simpsons episode. I say latter day. It was like 20 years ago. But yeah, he sent me something on Venmo. I guess he was listening to an older episode because I haven't promoted it in a bit. Always appreciate it, guys. Until I get enough figured out. I think when we get to a certain like number base, then I'll be comfortable doing a Patreon. I know some people do a Patreon like right away, and then nobody pays for it, and I don't want to put forth that effort, especially since it's a one-person show here. But yeah, at Jesse Draham at Venmo if you want to send me anything. Shows coming up. June 15th, I will be competing in the first round of the Philly's Funniest, that's with a PH because it's Philly, contest at Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So you should come see me at that and vote for me. I'm hoping to do very well this year. The last time I did Philly's Funniest, I had such a great... They have 4 rounds. I had such a great set in the first round. I'd done enough time, but then I decided to do another off-key joke about the time an intellectually different person had a crush on me, and the crowd hated it and turned against me. And I have not told that joke since because it cost me that round. But where the fuck did I go with this? I don't know. The point is, you're getting a bunch of Game of Thrones stuff, and then we're going to take a little break from Game of Thrones, and then eventually we'll drop the rest of them, because we recorded 5 and 6, and then we're doing 7 and 8, and then I don't know what we're going to do as far as TV series after that. It doesn't matter. I'm fucking married. This is great. Follow me on all the things. Send me money if you want. I love you guys. You're the best. Kisses. Bye. Game of Thrones Season 3! What's up, guys? I am, as always, your very genial, congenital host, Jesse Draham, with my guest host for these Game of Thrones episodes, who...
Oh, you're not saying it? I have to. Cool. I'm Perri. I am the better half of this couple.
Yeah, not the better broadcaster of the two. I can't wait till we move to a place where there's not dickheads on fucking dirt bikes out the window all of the goddamn time.
Honey, we're staying in Philly. That's going to be everywhere.
I don't know. Can we just put a tight wire outside of our house? That'll keep them away. Anyway.
Set up a little booby trap.
That's right, yes.
Just fling all the way back.
Call Kevin McAllister security. That would actually be a great, if you if you made a John Wick, if Kevin McAllister from Home Alone got into booby trapping home security as an adult, and he just, maybe he becomes Jigsaw.
Didn't Macaulay Culkin do that? I'm pretty sure that was his adult trajectory. I'm just kidding. It just kind of fits with his personality.
He went to make a terrible God, did you hear about he made a Velvet Underground tribute band, but all the songs were about pizza?
Wait, but
Have you
Velvet
never?
Underground doesn't have any songs about pizza.
Yeah, he changed the lyrics to be about pizza. It was called the Pizza Underground. This
Sounds
is
like
why,
a pizza tribute band, not a Velvet Underground tribute band.
That's a good point. Anyway, this is why you should just take like a fucking slaughterhouse bolt gun to every child actor, like as soon as they hit 15.
He had a good run with Mila Kunis for a bit.
Yeah, just like I know, like we got a Leonardo DiCaprio, but was it worth it that we still have to? Speaking of dead child stars, rest in peace, Screech.
Oh yeah.
Screech has left his mortal coil, which again I have no idea when you guys are listening.
I was gonna say
this
is probably gonna be like months old at this point.
Yeah, this is the day before Valentine's Day. We're recording, and we didn't get each other anything because we're saving for a house and a wedding in May.
Also, we don't do Valentine's Day. Also, I hope this comes out after May.
This will come out after. No, wait. I don't know. I have no idea what the schedule is going to be.
Okay.
So we have changed the format a little bit. Before we were recording every 2 episodes. Where we speak to you right now, we have only watched, we've watched the first 6. We're only going to discuss the first 5. Your old pal Jesse had had a little bit of a scare.
What was your scare?
Oh, I didn't want to record last night.
Oh, because your throat.
Yeah, my throat was sore, and I didn't want to make it sore, and I am going to get a COVID test after this, although we're both pretty sure that I'm just being a little bitch, and that's what the test is going to come back. The test is going to pack, yes, Mr. Draham, you test
You were
positive.
positive for bitchiness?
Being a little puff.
No,
It's incurable.
like I said, don't do anything that's going to make you be paranoid, and this won't be an issue.
So anyway, before what we were doing is we were watching every 2 episodes we would record. We're changing that around. We're doing every 5 episodes.
Yeah, we've done a lot of changes so far, considering we're only on the 3rd season.
I like doing a loosey-goosey format.
I'm fine. Hey, it's your podcast, babe. I'm just here for the ride.
That's right. So
Buttons.
Ew.
What? I say that all the time.
I would have never proposed to you if I heard that.
What? I say that literally all the time because my dad says it.
That's okay. The other lame
You've
one I
never
always
heard
heard
that?
whenever someone said the word intense and then somebody else chimed in, like camping.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I didn't do that one. Well, the whole thing is buttons and ice cream. That's actually what the whole thing is.
Buttons and ice cream.
Yeah, because you can't. That's the point. Because it'll fall off.
I think you need to explain this concept
I'm
little
pretty
bit.
sure that's what it is. No, I need to make sure I'm my dad didn't do the whole sew buttons on ice cream, but sewing buttons to walls or ice cream, an expression used to fill a pregnant pause when someone simply says so, either as a way to start a conversation but is not sure what to say, or as a reply to something they are not impressed with. Mine is both.
All right. Look, I know she just held up her phone and pretended like she was reading. She's watching beheading videos. She made that the fuck
That's
up.
definitely what's going on.
Anyway, so what we're doing, I don't care what deep lie you've been working on to have a website set up to back up that lie.
Yo.
This has been the start of Google. It was all leading up to this moment.
Hashtag sew buttons and ice cream if you've grown up with that.
So what we're going to do is instead we're going to release this all as one episode, but right now we're only going to discuss the first 5 episodes. So yeah, let's just go through this shit. Stannis confesses his infidelity to his wife Selyse, who says she knows and approves. Their daughter, Princess Shireen, sneaks into the dungeon to visit Davos and teaches him to read.
Also, we see Shireen has a skin ailment, which we will learn more about.
Yes.
Remember, she has the
like the
dragon
mole
scales on her face.
I need to get the fucking book back from Ian. So Joe Hill, who was the son of Stephen King, wrote a book called The Fireman, which was about a plague, which you can understand why I wasn't really trying to get you to read that right now.
Right.
But in The Fireman, pretty much there's a pandemic going around the world of a weird rash that's appearing on people's skin called dragon scale that looks just like that. He might have stolen this right from Game of Thrones.
I think it's. I want to double check, but
Joe
I think
Hill,
it's called dragon scale.
Joe Hill, you fucking hack. Anyway, it makes people spontaneously combust, but it's really cool. Oh yeah, so Davos, I swear to God, I had different notes, and then everything got changed.
Grayscale, that's what it's called in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
By the way.
Okay. I did different notes at different times. Yeah, Davos awakes having survived the battle, landing on a rock. He returns to find Stannis is going mad and completely controlled by the Fire Maiden.
By the way, it's the Battle of the Blackwater.
Battle of the Blackwater. Battle of the Blackwater Park. Go check out Opeth. Anyway, Davos is locked up. He has a really fun relationship with the princess.
I know. I really do love the two of them together. It's very sweet. Because she's bringing him books and trying to help teach him how to read while he's imprisoned. Mm-hmm. I don't even think we got there yet.
I somehow fucked up and wrote about Stannis and company at the beginning and the bottom of my notes. So I don't know. Whatever.
So we're sandwiching them.
Yeah, that's all we need to know. Although we do see more of the Fire Maiden in episode 6, but we can discuss that on the next recording.
Yes.
Bran and his crew. So as you can tell, the big change of doing this every 5 episodes is we're not getting a ton of detail because you guys are watching the show. You don't fucking need us to repeat that. That is why for everything for Bran and his crew, I have summed up in 3 sentences here.
That's all you need.
Number 1, Bran is a warg. Number 2, the little elf drummer boy from Love Actually shows up, is also a warg. Number 3, they kill rabbits, so I hope they all fucking die.
That was the last episode.
I don't care. That one...
Yeah, you really were bitter about that. But now we know how to skin the rabbits when it comes to time for the apocalypse, and we have to eat them.
Exactly. That's the only way I'm comfortable with our pet rabbits dying is if I, in fact, eat them whole.
That's the only way you're comfortable is if you eat them.
Then I'll devour them, and their cells will become my cells.
Oh God!
And then our Iggy Hop will be.
No wonder Rusty commissioned a song for you about your love of your rabbits.
Oh yeah,
rabbits.
Our friend Matt Morgan, aka Fenriz, started a thing on Facebook that if you sent him $2, he pretty much give him $2 and a person, and he will write a song about them dying horribly. I think he wrote one about comedian Ryan Foster, pretty much as like Oedipus, like getting his liver pecked out by a vulture while tied to a tree.
That's not Oedipus.
Wasn't that Oedipus? Oedipus had his liver eaten out every day by a vulture, and every day it would grow back.
Wasn't that Prometheus?
Prometheus!
Yeah, Oedipus fucked his mom. Killed his father and fucked his mother. That's Oedipus.
That was also the other crazy thing.
No, your Greek mythology, you dumb bitch.
That was the crazy thing about Prometheus was that every day a vulture tore out his liver, and also it was a backdoor Alien sequel. That's right. Greek mythology. So yeah, that's all you need to know about. Maybe can you tell us the concept of the warg? Because we see that. So
I don't think it's been explained fully in the show yet. And there is also a wildling who is the creepy looking dude in Pirates of the Caribbean who's also a warg. But basically the idea is you can inhabit an animal's body, like take over and kind of see the world through that. So like, you know, like you could go like Bran like often goes into his dog's body and then like acts as the dog.
It's like a lazy Animorphs.
Yeah, it's kind of more like being possessed. But like the idea is like the animal's mind is still there. It's still active, I believe.
You're just seeing through their eyes.
Exactly. Well, no, but you are still controlling them, but the animal is also aware it's being controlled.
I'm learning all about the wall by looking through Hawk's eyes. Go listen to Dream Theater. Scenes from a Memory, Through Her Eyes, track 7. Okay, Daenerys. Let's talk what she's up to. Daenerys and company. It's actually, when you really whittle it down, it's not that much, because we can get the whole arc here. Daenerys and company arrive in Astapor, a slave city, looking for troops.
Yep, in Slaver's Bay.
Yeah, and all the Dothrakis are, like, puking, because they don't like the water.
Oh, yeah.
A little girl offers Daenerys a ball at some point, but dun-dun-dun, it's an assassination attempt. A poison bug emerges, and a hooded man slaps the ball away, and is revealed to be Sir Barristan.
Yes. Previously of the Knight's Guard, or not the Knight's Guard, the King's Guard.
Who Joffrey stripped of his role. He also took that role betraying the Mad King, did he not?
Well, he wasn't betraying the Mad King, so I think the idea of the King's Guard is like you kind of cross over to the next king unless the king dismisses you, which is why he became Joffrey's King's Guard.
Okay.
So, but I think you have to like be dismissed.
Well, I just know specifically in siding with Daenerys, he said something along the lines of like, "I should have been there for your father."
I think he wasn't present.
Okay, so he didn't betray him, but he wasn't there as much as he probably could have.
When Jaime killed him.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
We will.
Daenerys is conflicted by the notion of slave soldiers, the Unsullied. Krasnys, the slave merchant.
That's his name?
Yeah, I love this guy. He's such a piece of shit. He looks like a young Ben Kingsley.
I could see that.
Which is all the more like so. He talks to her solely through a translator, and he's insulting her the whole time. Missandei. So it's a little bit like, just imagine a guy who looks like Gandhi, and Gandhi in translation just like, tell this dumb spoiled whore that like they don't afraid of death, and also your vagina probably stinks. Fuck you. And and that's it for like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
You're like, well, but how do I know I can trust them? How do I know they will not fear death and abandon me? Like, you tell this stupid slut, go read her Cosmo, and they'll be fucking there for her.
Notice that there's finally black people on the show, and they're fucking enslaved.
I actually didn't register them as black.
I'm pretty sure Missandei's black. I'm pretty sure Grey Worm is definitely... Grey Worm is black.
I didn't think Grey Worm was black. They look some kind of...
Grey Worm, I'm pretty sure.
Something.
Well,
I don't know.
Anyway,
I told
people
you,
of color.
Well, that's good, because I told you my favorite part, not my favorite part, it would be twisted if it was my favorite part, but a funny just production note I had is like in the pilot, all the Dothraki are very clearly like Polynesian or Hispanic, and then when they get into the actual episodes of season 1, it's just like fucking brown-haired dudes, just like, yeah, whatever, olive oil, who cares?
Oh my god, he's only 30, Grey Worm. Do you hear this one out there?
Yeah, our cat is begging to be on the mic.
Always meowing.
So the Unsullied are basically dehumanized since birth.
By the way, he's Afro-Caribbean.
Okay. The Unsullied are dehumanized since birth to obey commands and not fear death. Daenerys, to the dismay of Jorah and Ser Barristan, offers to buy all the soldiers by trading for one of her dragons. And she also wants to take the translator. But so everybody's confused. What was the name? Which dragon did she give?
Drogon.
Drogon, like the biggest.
Who's named after Drogo.
Right. When the sale is complete and she hands the dragon is like upset. Krasnys complains the dragon won't obey, and then she states in his language, a dragon is not a slave to anyone. And
that language is, I believe they're speaking Valyrian. I don't think it's High Valyrian.
Right.
But that comes up.
And so when that happens, so immediately he understands, like, oh, she heard all that dumb bitch smelly pussy shit I've been spouting.
As if she wouldn't have done this anyway.
Orders the dragon to breathe fire with Dracarys, kills the guy, and orders her new slave soldiers to murder their previous captors. She tells
kill the masters.
Kill anyone with a spear. I think she's...
No, I thought she said kill the masters.
She did, but she said something, whoever holds a spear.
Okay.
She tells them, you are now free to do what you will. And again, this is...
Wait, they're holding spears. The Unsullied.
I'm not saying it makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry. Did the thing with the slave water and dragons not make sense for a second?
That's fine. Just I'm here to correct you, and then you get mad when I correct you.
But so we're seeing this as a character pattern with Daenerys, and I think it makes her a sympathetic protagonist. That she continually she wants people to join of their own free will. Like with the Dothraki, she pretty much says yeah, leave if you want, but but
if you stay, I'll promise.
Yeah.
You won't regret it.
Mm-hmm. So she says, you're now free. Join me if you want, but today you're all free men. She wins their loyalty. She says they should choose amongst them their own leader, choosing a man named Grey Worm, a name given to him by his captors to dehumanize him. By the way, we should name our son Grey Worm.
Sure.
Daenerys says they are all free to choose their own names now, but Grey Worm opts to remain the Wormy Grey. His previous name led to his enslavement, and Grey Worm has led to his freedom.
Yes, it's a lucky name, he says.
Exactly. So, I will let you read this next point.
Gosh.
I'm very curious. I want you to read the jokes I wrote in it, too, because it might be funny. All right,
Will I think they're funny, or will I think they're dumb? Because it could go either way.
Both.
Okay, so we're talking about Jaime and Brienne now. Brienne is... Wow, I read that weird. Brienne is slowly marching the chained Jaime back to King's Landing. On the way, he attacks her on a bridge, stealing her sword. She beats him down and defeats him. Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we really start the only time we really see Jaime sword fighting, because up
True.
until now we've just heard legend that he's the greatest sword fighter alive, and now he's chained, fighting
Malnourished.
basically with both his hands tied together, and still almost beats Brienne. But yeah, so we start to see that with Jaime, and yeah, the sword fight is pretty awesome, I would say. But she beats him, defeats them, and they get noticed and are captured by some Stark men, led by a man named Malak. The men attempt to rape Brienne, but Jaime lies, saying she comes from an island famous for sapphires, Sapphire Island, which is also Tarth, not the Sapphire Island. And her father would pay handsomely for her return. Just for the record, I'm not misreading this. Jesse just mistyped this. Unraped, of course. What? This is so weird. You read this.
And her father would pay handsomely for her return. Unraped, of course. Yeah, hi. I like a large pie, pickles, lettuce, tomato. Unraped, please. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I don't care for it. Yes, I know unraped is extra.
Also, you're getting a pie with pickles, lettuce, and tomatoes.
I don't think these things through.
No, I think you need to read your own notes, because these don't...
I write these notes when I'm 3 beers in at 1 o'clock in the morning with bunnies nipping at my ankles. The fact that it's even in English is amazing.
Right, so I think you should read them.
Okay. Unraped is extra. That's all we need.
Jaime pulls some usual "my father will make you wealthy." Oh yeah,
Lannister pays his debts.
Yeah. Jaime's trying to really
my father and my hot sisters.
Yeah, and they're like over their bullshit. But at first they entertain it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know what? We'll unlock you. We're gonna serve you food. It's gonna be great. Oh, actually, we're gonna chop your fucking right hand off, your sword fighting hand."
The fact that that's kind of their position, like, look, we didn't rape the girl. Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah.
But he has to keep on asking for stuff.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I won't, whatever. That's pretty wild. They arrive at Harrenhal, where Roose Bolton takes him prisoner, again, a Stark person. He sends him to his doctor, who says his doctor, not a doctor. He sends him to
and the doctor said, no more Jaimes jumping on your sister.
He sends him to Qyburn, who is who was training to be a maester, which is not a doctor, and got dismissed from it for doing unsavory experiments. So a little bit of Nazism going on in there.
A little Nazi there with the
So yes, Qyburn, he will come up more. So he's worth paying attention to. But yeah, so he's like, oh, I might have to cut the arm off. So he eventually ends up just taking like the burning the flesh that the gang
right, burning off the dirty flesh, but he won't take the full amputation.
Exactly. And he didn't take any. That was a big thing. He didn't want any milk of the poppy. I want some milk of the poppy.
Some delirium drinkum.
Okay, so later on they get in a hot bath. Jaime and Brienne.
We get to see Brienne's tuchus.
Yeah, it's a good butt.
It's a nice butt.
She's well stacked for a tall woman.
I looked up some photos of her. First off, there's some weird ones with her like naked with an afro wig. Interesting. Don't know. And there's another one where it's her naked next to a very short woman, and it's just baffling.
Well, her husband, I think, is shorter than her. Yeah, she's a very tall girl, but she's gorgeous outside of the show.
Oh, yeah. I was actually fascinated because she played Phasma in the new Star Wars series, and they never unmasked her.
Oh, yeah.
She was just a giant, shiny, chrome stormtrooper lady.
Well, and we'll have that with another Game of Thrones character who is the Mandalorian.
That's right, Chewbacca. Chewbacca shows up in season 4, and I don't know.
I just said the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I know. I already had the riff planned in my head.
It doesn't work when I already say the character.
I haven't watched the Mandalorian yet. Chewbacca could be in there.
No, but he is the Mandalorian. He's not just in the Mandalorian.
I actually just got word that the only other boy I knew named Jesse in elementary school has passed away. So, Jesse Yip, wherever you are. Sorry.
Okay, and that was mentioned just now. Why?
Just because I just found out about it
A little out
now.
of left field.
But we get Jaime's perspective.
So, yes, Jaime starts, we've heard he's the Kingslayer up until this whole thing. And it turns out he was really saving pretty much all of the people in King's Landing.
The realm.
Because the Mad King at that point was like, burn them all.
Yeah, it turns out the Mad King did some mad shit.
Yeah, he was a Mad King.
See, the funny thing is, when they first started referring to him as Kingslayer, I honestly took it as like, oh, that's gnarly. He's like the Kingslayer, where it's actually like...
No, it's an insult.
Yeah, it's like sister fucker, only,
Yeah, it's an
he's
insult,
also guilty
and
of
no
it.
one calls him Jaime anymore, but it turns out he was just saving everyone by betraying it. And he brings that point up where he's like...
Well, not only that, but he also was... the Mad King also ordered Jaime to murder Tywin, his father.
Right, well, and that's what I was about to say, is like he does bring up the point that like you make all these like vows... Like, well, what if one vow breaks the other vow, Honor thy father, but also honor the king, and the king is telling you
I've done
to
everything
kill
you
the
told me,
father.
God, even the stuff that contradicts the other stuff. I even stayed kosher just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, so that's that. Where
Oh, yeah, I noted, it said burn down the whole city with wildfire, which I mean, like, a bit of Denethor, the Mad King sounds like, from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Ned Stark entered the room just as Jaime killed it, which might have been stated before, but I think it lets you imagine how that actually went down.
And why Ned really hates Jaime, other than the fact that he pushed Bran out the window.
Right.
But and why Jaime hates Ned.
Uh-huh.
Because Ned walked in and assumed Jaime's the
Jaime could have killed him and just left and never been caught for it. He could have said, somebody got through or whatever.
Right.
But that kind of doomed Jaime to his place of infamy right now. And he finally collapses into the bath, but not before, talking about Ned. Brienne asks why he didn't explain himself to Ned, and he said he was judged guilty immediately, also venting, by what right does a wolf judge a lion? And then he passes out.
I don't know. Those direwolves are pretty big. They make it sound like they're like puppies.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think a direwolf might have a chance with a lion.
We've seen direwolves in this universe. We have not seen what a Westorian lion looks like yet.
True.
Be a little pussycat. All right, Tyrion and Sansa.
That's actually the only one that doesn't really make sense. The only Sigil.
Oh, yeah. Everybody else has, very blatant ties. Like, they have their sigil around.
Yeah, I get they're, uppity and shit, but,
Yeah, the Starks have wolves around. Daenerys has dragons. The Tyrells, they're like florists.
The Greyjoys have the Kraken.
I just put together florist and florist with the rose. I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, wow.
I always forget his first name.
Oh, honey. Wait, it's Loris, not Floris.
Oh. Again, that's part of the confusion. Everybody's name in this is like Bergenham.
I mean,
Flourish,
that's Lord of the Rings, too. At least, unlike Lord of the Rings, not everyone has 8 different names.
I will give it that. That was a weird name, nomenclature boner that Tolkien had.
I don't know. What? I'm looking at the next thing.
Tyrion wakes up in bed after being attacked during the battle.
Oh, we moved to Tyrion, okay.
Yes, and finds himself severely demoted now that Tywin is in town.
He also has a giant scar
across his face.
He's like, I'm a monster, more so.
He's put in charge of the treasury, replacing Littlefinger. Littlefinger is being married off to Catelyn's sister...
Liza Aaron.
Liza. I'm gonna marry you!
Liza, the one who's still breastfeeding her 8-year-old son.
So it is like Lucille too and Liza Minnelli. There you go. Okay.
And Shay sticks around with Tyrion, even though he looks like a monster.
Oh, now that Tyrion has been put in charge of the money instead of Littlefinger, he realizes that the place is basically broke and they've been borrowing like crazy.
From his father.
Bronn, who is Tyrion's knight. Buddy, has been knighted while he's been incapacitated. So for his role in lighting the wildfire in battle, Tyrion requests to inherit Casterly Rock to escape with Shay, whom Tywin is now aware of, but denied. Tywin still blames him for killing his mother in childbirth.
They all blame him for that.
Yeah.
Except Jaime.
Right. We have the weird seat changing scene.
That's what I said. What to?
So yeah, they have the scene. They're coming to meet with Tywin, and it's like Varys, Littlefinger, Cersei, and Tyrion. And there's only like 4 chairs, and they're all on one side. Cersei grabs a chair, takes it all the way over to sit right next to Tywin, where Tyrion is just kind of like, fuck y'all, and puts his chair at the opposite head of the table.
Yeah. Dragging it. Yeah.
Side quest. In thanks for saving his life, Tyrion treats Podrick to the services of several whores. He is so great in bed that they refuse payment.
I fucking love this.
Yeah.
Like, it's so great. And I want to know what Podrick did.
I don't think we'll ever find out.
We won't, but...
Do we at least get more examples of him just crushing?
Nah. That's like, I'm pretty sure if I remember, but they still allude to it if I'm remembering correctly. Because that's like that's Pod's thing. He's good in bed and has no idea what he's doing.
That'd be great if at some point he like hooks up with Arya and just like fucks the tomboy out of her. And suddenly she's just like, Sister Sansa, now I know.
Well, it's pretty funny too that like he also has no idea what he's like, I don't know. I paid attention to them. Like he's never had sex before.
He's the one considerate lover. He's the only man that has ever given a woman an orgasm in Westeros.
And that's what Bronn says. He's like, pace yourself before he leaves.
Yeah.
And then it's like, apparently he did.
I just focused on that clitoris. Clitor what? We've heard of no such thing in all the realm.
We know that's not a thing because of what's coming up in episode 6. Jon.
Oh.
That's the next episode.
Well, no. We still see the act itself when we get to that.
Oh, okay.
Right. So Tyrion, knowing the financial situation, approaches Marjorie's grandmother, Lady Olenna Tyrell, who we first meet. She's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
About their houses splitting the costs for the upcoming wedding. So now let's talk about Sansa, because they're different people in King's Landing have their arcs going together.
Right.
And Sansa and Tyrion are very tied right now. More so at the end than at the beginning, huh? Oh, what?
But not at the end of this.
Well, at the end of this episode.
They're tied?
Sansa is courted by Lady Olenna and Marjorie to be friends and tell them what to expect of Joffrey. Marjorie has been doing great things to improve Joffrey's reputation, like visiting the little orphan children by the recent battle. She's taking the Lady Di route of making the royal house look good with charitable deeds. Cersei doesn't like her and tries to turn Joffrey against her.
Wait, let the record show that the script says Cersei don't like her.
Again, 1 o'clock in the morning. Cersei don't like that bitch.
Cersei don't like her.
Cersei thinks she's ratchet. Tries to turn Joffrey against her, which at first works as he attempts to threaten her for almost marrying Renly. She reassures and wins over Joffrey, revealing Renly was a gay homo and wanted to fuck her up the butt.
That's a little redundant.
Maybe I should put a third one just so it's not like canceling each other out.
Sure.
A gay homo.
You could just not be a dick.
A gay homo. If I was
just quit while you're.
Why does it have to be about
sort of behind?
Why does it have to be about a dick? Why does it have to be behind? Why are you making all these gay jokes? Dick and behind.
God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're gonna be the one that looks like the asshole on this.
Asshole. More gay references.
Yeah. All right.
Not all. Because
women don't have assholes.
They don't. They don't poop. Yeah. Marjorie befriends Sansa and sets up her marriage to her brother Loras. Meanwhile, Littlefinger continued to try to get her to leave the city with him. Cersei takes this information to Tywin, revealing that the Tyrells are courting Sansa, which would make a natural alliance in the north. So pretty much, this is the weird thing with this, is where these diplomatic weddings are a double-edged sword. Because on the one hand, like, well, we want Marjorie to marry Joffrey, because then what's Marjorie's people's country?
Highgarden.
Highgarden. Like, well, we want to have an alliance with Highgarden. But they can't have the Highgardens getting too close to the Starks, because then they have their own alliance.
Right.
So, So, yeah, Cersei brings this to Tywin, thinking, like, well, we got to put a stop to this. Tywin fucks up everybody's day by saying, all right, Tyrion, you're marrying Sansa.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. They'll be closer.
I forgot that, again, started happening at the end of the last episode.
And Cersei, guess what? You're marrying Loras, the gay Rose Knight. So nobody is happy with this arrangement but Tywin. And we'll get into more with the next episode because we see some of that in season 6. This is where we can run through real quick.
Yeah, especially because someone has.
I have a
something to
COVID
do.
appointment. Here, I'll make this bigger for you to read. But in the meantime, all Varys really does in these 5 episodes, while speaking with Tyrion, he recounts the story of his castration while unpacking a crate revealed to be filled with the sorcerer that castrated him.
Yeah, he's been torturing him for years. It's pretty satisfying.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Varys that we kind of brushed over is like, yeah, he some sorcerer pretty much cut his dick off, bought him to cut his dick off to do sorcery with.
Right.
So pretty fucked up.
Needed ground up boy dick magic.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know like what happened. All I know is like he said something and like someone responded.
Ground up boy dick magic is my second least favorite magic.
What's your first?
Right behind sleight of hand. It's cheap.
Don't tell Neil that. So,
Neil's more about knots these days.
No, he's into knots. That's weird.
No, I told you he has that thing where he got tied up by a babysitter as a kid, and instead of being terrified, pretty much years later, he's like, "Oh, I almost got molested," but at the time, he's like, "Ooh, I'm learning about magic."
Yeah, that's true. Although I'm surprised he's not just like into getting tied up now.
Guys,
anyway,
go listen to Cult of Us. He did have a rope collection when we lived together.
That's creepy.
No, he didn't. That would be funny, though.
That would be. And creepy. Okay, so Arya and the Hound. Arya is taken in along with Gendry and...
I've just written his name as Fat Fuck, which is... I know is mean. I don't want to make any... This is more a direct correlation.
Hot Pie is not any better.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, if you're going to call him Hot Pie, I'm going to skip a step and just call him Fat Fuck, because that's what you're trying to say.
So Arya is taken in with Gendry and Hot Pie by the Men Without Banners. It's actually Brotherhood Without Banners. They also capture the Hound, who reveals Arya's identity as a Stark, and I think his exact wording is like something along the lines of like, "Oh, you got a Stark bitch with you." Mm-hmm. He's sentenced to trial by combat, my favorite kind of combat. Let God decide. With Eye Patch Fellow.
Dondarrion.
What? No, his name is Beric.
Well, somebody fucking lied to me online then.
Unless that's his last name. Okay, so Beric, and the Hound wins, slicing the man brutally, but the Brotherhood Without Banners believe in the same fire god as Stannis Baratheon, but more practically, enough that they pray over the man and he is healed. So he goes from, they bring him back from the dead. He actually dies.
Because he's literally like cleaved into at the shoulder.
He dies, and once again, Thoros, I think his name is, brings him back to life. Mm-hmm. And this is apparently the 6th time he's done it.
Yeah, and that's why the guy's like maimed all over, missing
he's got a lot going
scars.
on. Which is funny because I feel like he'd be like a relatively attractive person for not for all that shit. Like for an older guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Arya wants to kill the Hounds anyway for killing the Butcher's Boy, which you'll
recall. Back season 1.
Yeah, you'll recall he from
Joffrey.
But they hold her back, and they're going to return Arya to the Starks. And then Gendry decides to stay with them as a smith, and he wants to be part of the Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And Hot Pie also stays behind to be a baker.
He stays by with somebody else. I couldn't remember who.
He does?
Yeah,
I thought it was just the 3 of them.
Oh, wait, you know what? You know where he stays back? Gendry comes out with him. Gendry comes out with the Brotherhood Without Banners and Arya to go, like, marauding again. Uh-huh. But Hot Pie stays behind in the village that they stop at, which I guess is their village.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's there. Yeah, I don't know.
But they're both staying, but
yeah, he decides to be a baker, which makes sense because he's been baking bread since the beginning. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, we still have more, but they're getting shorter as they go. Robb Baratheon and Theon and Cart Stark. Theon is being tortured. He gets released by a guy who helps him escape, but only ends up leading him back to the same torture cell. I don't know who this guy is yet, and I'm looking forward to learning about him.
Oh, good.
Because after watching season 6, he just tortures the shit out of Theon. Yeah. And, like, mind fucks him. Episode 6.
Okay.
Cart Stark, pissed off at not avenging his son's death, goes against orders and kills the 2 young Lannister boys. Robb makes the heavy...
Which one of those Lannister boys is going to be another character shortly.
Yeah, you said it's the same actor.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
Robb makes the heavy decision to sentence them all to death. One guy says, "But I only watched, sir." And he responds, "Hang him last then so you can watch the rest."
It's a pretty good one.
Metal. His council tells him to let Karstark live. They need his men, and they will all leave if Robb executes their leader. Even his bitch-ass, spying-ass wife, who justifies the 2 boys' death as ending the war is the only way to prevent the deaths of thousands of boys. Robb carries it out anyway, personally, but not before Karstark calls him a bitch-ass bitch who ain't even no real good king know-how, gets his head cut off.
Yeah, serves him right. But yeah, we're watching Robb slowly have the war slip away from him. He's kind of starting to...
Fucked up.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people are very upset with the fact that, like, he went against the Freys and married her, I forget her name, Lisa or something. It's not Lisa.
Yeah,
but
we
like
still
that.
haven't seen, but everyone's like, she busted.
She busted.
They all say she's ugly.
Oh, the Frey woman.
Yes.
I thought you meant his wife. I was like, she's gorgeous.
His wife's cute. She's just a bitch ass spy.
Yeah, well, but everyone's mad because he betrayed the Freys. So
By the way, I don't know anything that's coming. I just know a bitch ass bitch spy when I see one.
That's fair.
Jon Snow and Ygritte. Jon Snow is helping the wildlings to take on the Wall in the Night's Watch, disgusted with them after the fealty to the daughter fucker, son killer, Castor. Ygritte makes him prove his new loyalty by giving up his vow of chastity. They fuck in a cave that she does not want to leave.
Yes, they're like, let's stay in this cave.
Yeah. More importantly, we find out something about Jon Snow.
Yeah, apparently he just like decided to.
He goes downtown.
He just wanted to kiss her down there.
Eating
and
the
pussy. She didn't know what it was, so that's what makes me think maybe Gendry not Gendry, Podrick did something similar because clearly no one is into satisfying their women.
Podrick and Jon Snow are Brotherhood of the Tongue, so they're gonna start.
Oh God.
Which you and I both mentioned when they like disrobed like. Sex in Westeros has got to fucking stink.
Well, especially the wildlings.
Oh, yeah.
They've got nothing around them.
She's got a fiery red bush down her ankles.
Although they do bathe after.
They do bathe after in the hot spring.
But, yeah.
Ugh. She must look like a...
Oh, God.
Her crotch must look like fucking Gossamer from the Looney Tunes.
Oh, God.
The Night's Watch. They turn on each other, but not before killing the daughter fucker, Castor. The head of the order is also killed of the Night's Watch. Sam escapes.
Yes, which is also if Jorah's father.
Jorah's father. Okay.
Yeah, Lord Commander.
Right. Sam escapes with the Castor daughter from before.
Gilly,
who has just given birth to a son. And this was a question I had, and I didn't write down. Why the fuck didn't they kill... Castor kills all of his sons. He has nothing but his daughters around. Who is there to protect him?
No one. The problem is...
I guess he can have alliances with other people.
Yeah, because if they kill him, what are they going to do when they need a place to crash?
They could put anyone there.
But someone is able... But that's the thing. Like, it's hard to live north of the Wall if you're not a part of...
True.
That, you know, like then you're gonna get attacked. Like, don't forget the wildlings hate the Night Watch. So if they know a Night Watch person is watching Castor's Keep, they're gonna get attacked.
But what is their relation to the Castors? I don't think they have a good relationship with the Castors, do they? The Castor?
They don't, but they have a better one. Clearly,
okay.
That's the thing. Castor is safety.
Okay.
Once that's taken away, they don't have the safety.
I think that's all of it, because all I have at the end there is Stannis and Davos, which, as we mentioned before, like an Ouroboros, I put at the beginning and end of this.
Oh, yes.
Can we think of anything I might have missed?
Yes. We missed the introduction of Edmure Tully.
Who?
Catelyn's brother, who could not fucking shoot an arrow.
That dickhead.
And
there's an episode where Catelyn's
father,
just suddenly, like, Catelyn's father, who we've never met before, is dead.
Which, honestly, you probably forgot, which, of course, like, but they do allude to him for a bit that he's sick. So that's also why they're making their way to River Run.
Okay.
But yeah, Edmure is put in charge of the Viking funeral of launching a fiery arrow into his father's floating away boat and misses, 3 times?
3 times.
So finally, like, I think his uncle pushes him out of the way and is like, I'll do it. And he just, like, this is This sets up Edmure's character very well.
Right. And we honestly, he doesn't do much in these episodes, but he does do in episode 6. So we
He
can just
comes back.
Yeah, he comes back. We're more or less.
Well, why don't we just wait?
Because it's such a small thing,
Sure.
I'm worried we'll miss it in the next one.
No, we won't.
Oh, it becomes a big thing?
Yeah, because he's marrying the Frey girl.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going to talk about that.
Rob is going to fix his Frey problem with
Yeah.
his dumb shit uncle.
Yeah, so we're going to see that.
Okay, so we have some new things we're going to try here. Amputation of the week. Everybody's losing a limb or a head here or there. What was the best for this half of the episode?
You mean season?
Right, for this half of the season.
I mean, I think Jamie.
Jamie losing his hand far
Especially
because
we never really get to see him be a true sword fighter.
And now we won't.
And now we never will, yeah.
They might go like Ash in Army of Darkness and give him like a fucking steam-powered hand.
We're in Westeros, honey.
I could see... come on, you couldn't see Jamie Lannister with a fucking chainsaw
I mean,
hand?
I'll tell you, like, he gets like a
Groovy.
gold, like, fake hand, but like he's going to have to learn to fight with his left, you know?
Okay. But yeah, and also this sheer fact that they like fucking tie it on a string and leave it on it, like...
Oh, yeah, and they're
around his
like
neck.
dragging him with, like, remember they're trying,
Yeah.
he's like falling off the horse and shit. Yeah.
They're all but like taking the severed hand and
So-
like, look, he's picking his nose with
Yeah,
it.
and it's like around his neck. Yeah. So Jamie, I would say.
You don't want to pick up that nose.
No. We're gonna have a pretty bad amputation coming up, though. I'll just say that
Nice.
much.
Okay. Sex scene of the week. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I would say.
Well, there's the one right here, but I gotta think the Jon Snow one is pretty high up there too.
True. The other thing we forgot to mention, and this isn't a sex scene, Marjorie learns how to get in with Joffrey a little more by appealing to his sadist side and being like, "Let me hold your crossbow."
Oh,
and
yeah.
that gets a little creepily
That
sexual.
phallic crossbow you were just about to fucking
oh my
pierce
God.
me with.
Yeah, no, it's so that.
I like watching Marjorie wrap Joffrey around her finger. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So yep. That was it wasn't a sex scene, but that's pretty. But yeah, I would
It's
say
sexual.
I would say Pods because that's like my favorite in like the series.
Yeah, with Podrick, the line I have here is Podrick is slaying that puss. Even the acrobat puss got destroyed. You know why? Because Podrick fucks without a net.
All right,
Power rankings, and then I can go get a COVID test.
you should go first since I'm like a little tainted because I know, but I'm gonna try to like not.
Well, let's see. I at least understand Jamie a little bit right now. So I'm going to put him in my dark horse slot in that I don't necessarily want anything good to happen to him, but he has enough character motivation now that I kind of want to see how it plays out.
So that's what you mean by power rankings, not like the king. Not
I'm
like
literally-
who you want to win.
I'm using the word power rankings because it goes with the Game of Thrones. I really don't give a shit who's closer to it or not. I'm just talking in this particular section who I'm interested in.
Got it.
Tyrion
Okay.
slaying as always. Starting to like Brienne more.
Brienne's great.
I really like Marjorie.
Interesting.
Marjorie, she is playing everybody just right, and I like it. Oh, and also her grandma, Lady
Olenna. Lady Olenna's the best.
Lady Olenna's good. And least favorite, I'm ready for Tywin to just get stabbed in the dick.
Interesting.
Oh, and also
because you liked Tywin initially.
I did, but now he's just kind of like.
You can tell that like he wants to be the king.
Yeah, and I liked him as he was like, chumming it up with Arya.
Yeah.
If we're talking power rankings, I also got to put that's pretty gnarly scene we got with Varys and the sorcerer.
Oh yeah.
Torturing
well,
him.
and don't forget Tywin holds all the money too.
Right.
So like he, I think, rightly so feels that he's should be allowed to pull more strings because it's like the crown would be fucked.
Right. Like
not for
Tywin
him.
himself would have probably been king had Robb not beaten him to it. So he settled for marrying Cersei to him.
Oh, Robert.
Robert.
I got confused when you said. I thought you meant Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Well, also Tywin wasn't the one leading the rebellion.
True.
Tywin worked for the Mad King at that point.
That's right. We forget that Lannisters were the main ones who were not royalty before. They were like a favored family, nobles.
Exactly.
But they were not royalty themselves.
Right. They were just surrounded by they obviously
Wealthy.
Jaime was the King's Guard, and Tywin was financing, and I think Tywin was also the King's Hand. So
they were like the Starks of their time, only with money.
Right.
Just in their general relation to the Iron
Yes,
Throne.
yes. Ned's to Roberts, yes.
Gotcha.
Agreed.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. I think we did this pretty well. 46 minutes.
Wow.
This is a good... I like this method.
Yeah, me too.
I like this method a lot.
Hopefully you guys like this too. If not, well, fuck you. Don't listen.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
Bye.
All right. Be like Jon Snow. Eat pussy. Bye. Let me tell you what, baby. I like my velvet cakes the way I like my weddings. Red.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I couldn't think of any other format to make that work. We're back with to you guys went by in an mbop and it was gone. But we have finished up the second half of Game of Thrones season 3. And before we get to anything, we have to discuss the Red Wedding.
Yeah, of course.
Because everybody else's storyline folds into it in one way or another.
Well, and Jesse's guesses was incorrect. Have we introduced Jesse's guesses yet?
Yeah, so again, because this is the first time I've ever watched this show, we will be introducing a more formal version of Jesse's guesses, where I guess, usually wrong, sometimes right, usually wrong, about what's going to happen. Here's a Jesse's guessy that was wrong. So again, haven't watched the show, but I just, pay enough attention to pop culture that you hear about some things. I 100% thought the Red Wedding, as was spoken of, was going to be Joffrey. And at first I thought Sansa, but now Marjorie. So, especially with all the weddings happening, this one had the least lead up. And this is the Red Wedding.
Yeah. And it's funny because I remember texting Catherine when we first started watching, and you're like, well, I know the Red Wedding is Joffrey's wedding. And I texted her oh my God, he's in for it. He thinks the Red Wedding is Joffrey's wedding.
Yeah. So.
That was one of Jesse's guesses about the Red Wedding.
Yeah, well,
another Jesse's guesses gets resolved in the Red Wedding as well.
I will get to that. I'm not 100% wrong with that. So Robb strikes a deal with Lord Frey. Since Robb broke his vow to marry one of Frey's daughters, he offers Frey Harrenhal and Frey's daughter to marry Robb's uncle, Edmure Tully. Around this time, Talisa, that bitch-ass, spy-ass, bitch, reveals she's pregnant. Elsewhere, Gendry has been kidnapped by the fire priestess Melisandre, and in a ritual, she uses leeches to suck the king's blood from his veins and throws the leeches into the fire, naming 3 people she wants dead.
Oh, this is where I got confused. I thought we were discussing the Red Wedding now.
We were
just making mention.
No, no. We're going to discuss the Red Wedding now.
Right.
I'm giving the immediate lead up to that.
Sorry.
Melisandre throws the leeches in and names 3 people she wants dead. 1, Robb Stark.
Yes.
2,
Joffrey.
Do you remember the 3rd?
The usurper, Robb Stark. The usurper, Joffrey Baratheon. The usurper... It can't be Daenerys. He doesn't know about her yet.
Balon Greyjoy.
Fuck!
Which I didn't realize he was a usurper.
Well, yeah, remember? Because he's I'm going to be king of the Iron Islands, and I don't really give a fuck what happens.
Oh, okay. He's like the ruler, not in exile because he's still there, but Robb is the ruler of all of it because he's the guy. Okay. So at the Twins, Edmure meets the Frey he is to marry, and she's actually pretty cute.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa.
Oh? There is a grand feast celebration, and the bride and groom are carried out for a bedding ceremony, which, if you're not aware, is a real thing in history. What's that they said about the lives of the royals is that you are born and die in public, and also you got fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they carry the bride and groom. Perri, me and you are getting married soon. How would you feel?
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So, did I not send you that note
I don't think so.
that said, "Will you marry me?" Check box for yes, check box for no.
Oh, I don't think I got it.
Pass back in geometry class.
I think Amanda intercepted that one.
Who?
I don't know, honey. I'm
Did you
doing
say
your
Amanda?
bit.
I have to remember. I couldn't tell whether you said a man or Amanda.
Amanda, not
Amanda.
Amanda.
Well, I don't know who Amanda is, but I guess I'm marrying her now.
Yeah.
But imagine if we did get married and our parents were like, "All right, guys, great party. Let's carry you into bed. Let's get some fucking."
Yeah. Well, luckily, I don't think the parents really do it. Not that it makes it much better.
All right, my
I don't know why I'm
cousins.
defending this.
If Neil,
It's a horrible
if
truth.
Neil and Kara
that they
and
do.
Uncle Rick and cousin Frank,
Yeah,
episode
no.
6, I hate Infinite Jest.
Well, when you put it that way,
I don't know if I could perform under that pressure.
you definitely couldn't perform under that pressure.
All right, we're gonna edit that part out. We don't need that shit in here. I am a virile man.
You opened it up.
I was born with a heart on, and I have never lost it since. Okay.
Call a doctor. It's been more than 4 hours.
So Catelyn notices after the doors are locked, the band begins playing "The Rains of Castamere,"
Which I kept pointing out.
yeah, a song about the Lannisters' elimination of House Rain. Catelyn looks to Roose staring at her. She pulls his sleeve to reveal he's wearing chainmail. And I love the look he gives her because the look boy is like, "Sorry, babe."
Yeah, that's the real spy is Bolton.
Dumpsville, population U. So shit starts going down. A guy jumps out of nowhere, starts stabbing the ever-loving shit
Yeah, he
out of
really
Talisa's
goes
pregnant
in.
stomach. No doubt a part of her 4D chess spy plan. She's coming back.
Yeah.
Her and Cersei are coming back, and it's going to be fucking crazy.
Well, I told you Catelyn in the books comes back.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely told you this, but
Okay.
they don't do that in the show.
The musicians shoot Robb with crossbows. Catelyn grabs Frey's wife hostage, but Frey don't give a care. By the way, Frey, we were watching the movie Hot Fuzz this weekend because the Hound is in it playing like a large, simple man. And I had no idea he was. I just looked up to see, like, oh, I wonder what else the Hound was in. And I mean, he's like, Hot Fuzz, Lurch. I'm like, oh my God, that is him.
Well, we went over this a little bit. We went past this, but in the intro, when Walder Frey is talking about about women and like all his wives and children, like how young his wives are and stuff, you're like, I like Walder Frey. Like right before he murders the Starks.
I appreciate man just being a lout.
Yeah, it was funny though because I was like, he doesn't even know.
Roose grabs Robb and tells him Michael Corleone says hello.
Yeah, right.
The Lannisters send their regards and stabs him through the heart. Catelyn kills the wife, then Catelyn's throat is slit. As all this is happening, Arya and the Hound are approaching to reunite her with her family. So close.
So, oh my God, so many like
this is
close
going to happen
calls.
a bunch of times.
Yeah. Yep.
Just as they're about to enter, the massacre goes down and they are refused entry. She sees guards with crossbows murder Robb's direwolf, Greywind. Robb's head is cut off, and Greywind's head is wired to the stump and paraded around the town on horseback. The entire northern army is destroyed, an end destined after Robb's killing of Karstark.
Yeah.
Heavy shit.
A lot of shit going on. Yeah, well, obviously Talisa was not a spy.
I don't believe that for a second.
But yeah, in the books, Catelyn comes back as like a ghost version of herself almost. Lady Stoneheart, I believe her name becomes. And yeah, she's just like a little ghost woman wandering around, but that never comes to fruition in the movie or this show.
I remember you said watching this kind of hit you very hard just because it seemed like Robb was becoming something of a protagonist in the story.
Yeah, well, you start the show, too, thinking that you're following the Stark story. And then all the main Starks, like, obviously Arya and Sansa are getting bigger storylines, but, like, all the main lead Starks got murdered. And you're like, oh, okay, this is anyone's game, I guess. But the thing was, I also knew who died going into the Red Wedding. But it shocked me to watch it still. Because I didn't know exactly what went down. All I knew is that was when Robb and Catelyn died. I didn't really know the details.
Yeah, it does make sense, again, looking at the story beats where, like, he starts off with a lot of momentum, but then he just keeps kind of fucking up.
He makes some weird choices.
He breaks his alliance to Frey after agreeing to marry one of the daughters. The whole thing with Karstark, I mean, it was not worth it to kill Karstark because he killed some lesser Lannisters.
Right.
Especially considering how, I mean, it's a direct thing. Like, didn't Roose say something along the lines of, like, yeah, I was on his side, but he fucked up. Like, I think Roose kind of took the position that, like, he fucked up enough, and once the Karstark thing happened, it was going to be impossible to win at this point. So
yeah,
fuck him.
But if you recall, like, the Karstarks, they were already not liking Robb.
Right.
Because their son got murdered by Jaime, and then Catelyn let Jaime and Brienne go.
Right, but the final straw of
For
that.
sure, but, like, I feel like they were planning that betrayal a little longer even.
Oh, okay. You think it goes back even to that?
Yeah, maybe not that far back, but I think that started, like, breaking up the army because that was, like, the first major, like, and don't forget, Robb was gone at that point. So,
Right.
like, he really didn't have control of the army when that happened.
I'm going to give a hot take here about the deaths of Catelyn and Robb.
Okay.
Good riddance. I was so fucking bored with both of them.
Yeah. I will say, watching it through again, I'm definitely seeing storylines in a different way. And, like, yeah.
I told you, my thing with Catelyn was letting go of Lannister, to me, felt out of character at that point. I felt like it wasn't explained enough. It was forced conflict. And that's right around the time Robb starts getting, like, wishy-washy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I did see why Catelyn did it. Like, no, I don't agree with it, but I
understand the reasoning. I still think it comes out of the blue for her character.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I've seen it before, too. Like, I know these things are happening before they happen, you know?
So, moving on, in King's Landing, first we can talk about Cersei, because not much happens with Cersei in this chunk. She's fighting kind of a behind-the-scenes power struggle between her and Marjorie for who's going to boss around Joffrey. Tywin...
And actually, like, just brushing on Marjorie and Cersei's relationship, that's when we find out the story about the Reigns of Castamere before we even see it in the Red Wedding. We know it's a story about betrayal and that it plays when, like, something is about to happen like that. But that's when Cersei says, like, you know, never call me your sister again.
I wasn't, like, the last person to call me sister or something, or...
I don't know.
I know she says you'll end up like the House of Rain?
Yes, the Reigns of Castamere. That's what they're referring to. The House of Rain. And that's what the song is about. So, like, that triggers, like, a whole...
I would have preferred the House of Rain Wilson if we just had just fucking Dwight. Dwight would have fit. Dwight would have been... Put Dwight at the head of the Stark army. Dwight, King of the North. Yeah. Of Pennsylvania.
I would be into that. Beef farm. Oh, one more thing to remind you of for when we continue to watch. Remember I pointed out, like, in the beginning of the Red Wedding, to bring the guests in, it's, like, typical to offer bread and salt. Well, like,
you're safe.
Yes, and that's, like, that is widely thought to be, like, okay, this person needs to fall under your protection now. And the fact that they did that and still betrayed them, like, becomes an issue later.
Right. It seemed like this is a little bit of, from what I can glean, from what I can gather, that as much as, like, nobody really liked Robb Stark, he was a bit of a made man, I guess, by the
circumstances.
By the circumstances. Yeah. And it seems like, what the fuck is his name already?
Walder Frey, yeah.
Yeah, Frey stepped outside the realm of what was acceptable.
Exactly. So, like...
Nobody's going to mourn Stark, but they're going to be like, that's pretty fucked up.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Tywin arranges marriage between Cersei and gay-ass Loras. She ain't happy, because this will be another loveless marriage. Olenna prefers not to marry Loras to Cersei, as she's old and doesn't have many childbearing years left.
Oh, Lady Olenna. Just cutting it to the bone.
Yep. And Tywin basically threatens her into accepting. Much like Cersei and Loras, Tyrion has been informed that he must marry Sansa.
Oh, wow, that's still going on in this.
I think the last episode we had seen the thing where it happened.
Okay. It's just like a lot happens in so few episodes.
I literally think episode 5 is when Tywin tells Cersei and Tyrion.
And
then episode 6,
yes.
he's arranging
All
it.
right.
And we see Tyrion must inform Sansa of their marriage while Shay is in the room. He must have been pretty awkward.
Yeah. Shay should have chosen to hear that on her own.
Yeah, he tried to give her an out.
He tried.
Which, yeah, I feel bad for Shay.
I know.
I think I might skip over, now that I'm remembering my notes, I think we might skip over. Doesn't Varys make an offer to Shay to, like, get out of here?
Yeah, but why would you skip over that?
I don't think I put it in the notes.
Oh,
I'm just remembering that
over,
now.
yeah.
Well, I try to go by the threads of the major characters, and some things miss
got
in
it.
there.
Well, we could discuss that when we get to it.
So Sansa, of course, isn't happy that she's marrying Tyrion, but he assures her that I'll never mistreat you. She's later walking with Marjorie, and she's I have to marry the half man, and she pretty much says like, hey,
I hear he's good in bed.
Yeah, listen, little guy fucks.
Yeah.
Not to mention that is
he'll probably do things you didn't even dream of.
It's a well-known thing in professional wrestling, just because midget wrestling, little people wrestling, is a long-term thing in the company. I use the M word specifically as it's used there, but it is a well-known joke in wrestling circles that like, oh yeah, no, the little guys walk around bare-ass naked in the locker room.
Funny.
Because God has himself a sense of humor and he gives back a little bit.
There you go.
I told you, for those unaware, I worked in the porn industry for several years, and one of the I was Ron Jeremy's personal chaperone to a Guar concert one night. Very surreal night in my life. Everything he's accused of, he's guilty of. He's a piece of shit. What I'm getting at here is it is a well-known secret in the porn community that most of the male stars are like 5'5", 5'6", 5'7". You know why? Because if you're 5'6", 5'7",
you got a big dick.
Those 7 inches look pretty. Like 7's a little above. What if I was just like, now 7 is of course like obscene, animalistic. Like nobody. You want a gentlemanly 4, right?
Sure.
Yeah. That's I love that notion of like old Greek and Roman statues where it's like, no, you have a little dick like a gentleman. Beasts and perverted old men, they have big old cocks because they're dumb. But yeah, no, most porn stars like James Dean, another piece of shit.
Yeah, wow, you're just like picking them.
That's right. I'm calling them out.
They're all pieces of shit.
Let me interrupt this Game of Thrones podcast to talk about my
porn.
vendettas with the porn industry. Lexi Bell, coming for you, baby. Nah, I like Lexi Bell.
I know you do. You also have your future wife on the podcast with you. Continue.
Do you have a favorite porn star?
Yeah, wait, I can't believe we told my dad to listen to this today.
Oh, God. Hey, David.
So, no. I'm going to go with no.
Xander Corvus.
No, there's like a tattooed guy. I forget his name, though.
Oh, Owen Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, him and there's another one.
Owen Gray has that. He has like scarification where it looks like he has an autopsy.
Well, there's that one, and then there's the one who's married to the porn star.
That's half of them.
Okay. Well, there's a tattooed, a very heavily like emo-looking tattooed guy who's married to a porn star, and he looks like Pete Wentz.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
No, I think his name is Small Hands.
Okay. That's it. That's it.
Small Hands was a touring guitarist in the pop punk band Phoenix TX.
Well, I'm not surprised because he looks like a pop punk singer, and that might be like, all right. Well, we just got into that.
So anyway, yeah, James Dean has a slightly bigger than average penis, but he's like a tiny boy.
Wait, why don't we just pull back from this whole conversation and go back to
let's pull out of this conversation
and
continue splooging Game of Thrones all up in your ear holes.
I can't believe I'm marrying you.
I'm marrying Amanda, don't you remember?
Yeah, that's right.
At the wedding, we're so fucking charming. Give me a kiss, baby.
No.
Make it loud for the mic.
Mwah.
At the wedding, another wedding, Joffrey walks Sansa down the aisle himself and snatches the step stool Tyrion was to use to cloak Sansa.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
Joffrey's a shit.
He is a shit.
He's going to need, like, a fucking steam-propelled, like, earth drill to just, like, destroy his skull.
Did he already kill the chick?
It comes
It's in
up.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the wedding reception, Tyrion gets drunk. When Joffrey demands a public bedding ceremony to consummate the marriage, Tyrion threatens to castrate him. Later in bed, Sansa begins...
Wait, we also left something out where Joffrey threatens to come rape Sansa in the middle of the night.
That's right. Prima noctem.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just can't think of Michael Scott with prima.
with Phyllis.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Tyrion stops her from disrobing and says, "I will not go to bed with you until you want me to," which is not the same as like we don't have to do that. It's like we'll fuck when you're good and ready.
Well, he has to have his heirs.
Right? Yeah, he has duties.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been discussed yet. Oh God, I heard us talking about the dicks. They don't really discuss it, but I would think they would wonder, like, would Tyrion's children also be shorter?
Right.
Do they discuss that at all?
I don't think so.
I guess it's so rare back then that you don't really think... Well, back then in this fictional time that never existed.
Well, I guess in the same way, too, that, like, two people can have a little person and two...
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the Seinfeld thing.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Never
but okay.
mind.
He passes out drunk. They become friendly with each other on a walk in the garden, and they joke about people they swear vengeance on. Upon the announcement of Robb Stark's death, Joffrey says he wants Robb's head and to serve it to Sansa at his wedding. Tyrion says...
Yes, because this is pre-Red Wedding.
What?
This is pre-Red Wedding.
No, it isn't, because this is right after he says Robb Stark's death. Joffrey says he wants Robb's head. This is after he's already dead,
okay.
and he said, "Send me his head."
Send me his head, right? Okay.
And Tyrion says, "Absolutely not. She belongs to me now. She is not your plaything to torment anymore." And Joffrey throws a little shit fit, which, like Tywin puts him in his place, and we see Joffrey.
I don't want to go to bed.
I don't want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I want a cookie. And then Cersei's like, I'll I have him under my control. And you see Tywin is just
Tywin's
like. I don't want this series to end without Tywin taking him over his knee and just spanking his ass.
Oh my God. I love that no one, but that's when you note it. I'm confusing this. Never mind. I'm taking that back.
Tywin tells Tyrion to get a move on and impregnate Sansa already, that it's for the good of the family. And they have a discussion about loyalty to oneself and their family. What did you think of that conversation?
I'm sorry. I zoned out. Wait, Tywin, I was thinking of something else I wanted to address. Okay, Tywin tells Tyrion to impregnate Sansa already. That's for the good of the family. They have a discussion about the... what do I think? What's about specifically?
Well, they have a whole thing specifically where Tywin says everything I do for my family. And Tyrion is pretty much like, I've never seen you do anything that hasn't completely benefited you.
I would agree with both.
And Tywin says, I didn't, when you were born, I wanted to walk you into the ocean and drop you for the fishes.
Yeah.
But I raised you as my son because you're Lannister. I almost said Stark.
Right. So you want my opinion on that?
Yeah, what'd you take?
I mean, I think that tracks. That sounds right to me. I could see that because Tywin before that had brought up a lot of times, like, I'm defending you because you're my son, like you're a Lannister. And I really do think that is his motivation for keeping Tyrion around, where it's like, well, if I talk shit about my son, well, I mean, this is thinking that he's not throwing him in the river, but like, if I talk shit about my son, then like everyone will think it's okay to like talk shit about my...
Drop the half head in the water. No, I get it. It also, I think it needs to be stated, I really do appreciate the genius of Tywin, how like he completely picked up that like, oh, the Tyrells are trying to strengthen their position in the north by marrying Sansa off to them. Fuck that. We're just gonna screw everything up.
Yeah, But I do get there. Like, I mean, Tywin is a real dick for just like, he totally is controlling all his kids' lives and made decisions for them. But
all right, you know what? Let's take a second right now. Sansa is really getting the rough end of the sword here, and as opposed to Tyrion, who we know would love to be with Shay, and Cersei, who just wants that big brother dick, twin brother dick, all night long, no matter how many hands. Who would you ship Sansa with? Completely on her own. Like, who do you think would be a good character she'd get along with?
it sucks because if Loras wasn't gay, I'd put her with Loras. Also, I think she'd be happier with Loras. Something tells me she doesn't have a high sex drive.
I was actually going to say, I think I want her to date Podrick and have a bad breakup, not knowing what to do about that.
Oh, Podrick. That's interesting.
But if we're talking temperament-wise, I would like to see I'd like to see Sansa with Sam.
Aw. But Sam's pretty firmly with Gilly right now.
Yeah, it's allegiances aside.
It's really hard because a lot of the younger characters are her brothers.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be somebody her age.
I could see...
She's had her blood. You can marry her off to whoever.
I could see at this point Sansa with maybe Gendry.
I could see Gendry too. And hey, that would be what she really wanted. She wanted to marry the son of Rob Baratheon.
Right. But she wanted to be queen.
True, but that still might happen.
But I'm saying that was her
Jesse Gessie.
That was her motivation. She was motivated by, wanting to be royal.
Right. So speaking of people whose motivations took them in bad directions,
everyone.
Theon will spend the entirety of this series being tortured in more interesting ways by the Mystery Man.
Wow, that was the whole season, wasn't it?
Yep, he spent this whole
time
that whole
locked season. Up. Wow.
Mystery Man treats him to two beautiful whores who, after getting them all aroused...
Yeah, that's pretty... That's real fucked up.
The Mystery Man cuts his cock off. We next see him mockingly eating a sausage in front of Theon, teasing that, no, he's not, in fact, eating Theon's dick.
It's really insane.
Penis would be such a weird texture to eat.
It was super chewy. Ew.
Try to blow a bubble with it. It doesn't really work.
So gross.
He finally tells Theon his men betrayed and surrendered him for safe passage from Winterfell. The Mystery Man, we'll find out, is Roose Bolton's bastard son, Ramsay Snow, who then
related to Jon Snow.
Yes, who then sends Theon's dick to his father. His father says Tough Titty is not a man anymore, but the sister, who again Theon pretty much fingered on a horse.
Yeah, and she let it happen.
Yeah. Loads up 50 of her best fighters and declares that she will save her little brother.
It is kind of cute that she does feel a sense of duty to him, especially when the father doesn't, where she's like, he's your son.
Yeah.
And you sent him here.
He did this for you.
Yeah. This is when Yara starts to become a more likable character for me.
Right. Just a little bit on Varys. Littlefinger reveals to Varys that Joffrey found out the pretty ambitious whore was one of Varys' many spies. So Joffrey got his rocks off, shooting her multiple times with a crossbow.
Yeah, Littlefinger's fucked up.
Yeah,
because he sent her into that. Yeah,
and he had his own relationship with her. It wasn't a bad relationship.
No, but if you recall, he did threaten her at one point. Remember when she was crying over Robert's bastard being stabbed, the baby? Do you remember this? Right. Yeah, and he was like, I had another girl like you that she was happy, and one day she was sad, and I sold her to a man, and yeah, and it was I don't know what happened to her, but I know I got my investment back. Right.
I actually
you knew this was coming.
I love that starts almost like a pick me up, hey buckaroo conversation, and then just ends.
Yeah.
So brutally.
Oh, he's terrible.
Hey, honey, I know you're upset about not passing the test. I know you tried your hardest and you have a learning disability.
Yeah.
And if you fail again, I will sell you to a dog food factory. Well, because dogs aren't discerning. They like the way people taste. I know.
Well, it's crazy too because I forget that woman's name, but she also told Shay, be careful with him.
Right.
with Sansa. So like their relationship.
That's right. Yes,
yeah,
because Littlefinger was like trying to get close to her.
yeah,
and take
their
her back.
relationship definitely went downhill fast.
I'm curious how Littlefinger is going to react to the death of Catelyn, since he always had a little nerd boner for her.
Oh yeah, does he not know at this point?
Also, isn't he supposed to marry her sister too?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. I think he is en route to the sister. The word has reached King's Landing. I don't think it's reached him yet.
I believe so. I believe you're right.
Okay. Bran and Hodor and friends and Jon Snow and Sam, because they're all in the same geographical area. Jojen, the little troll doll from Love Actually, which is still the only thing I think of him as, tells Bran they must travel north of the wall to find the three-eyed raven. They spend the night in an abandoned windmill, but the storm freaks out Hodor, who starts panicking at the storm and making them noticeable to wildlings outside. What?
Terrible timing Hodor has.
Yeah. Bran is able to warg himself into Hodor to calm him down, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Apparently you can't do that with humans, so they think. When Jon Snow fights the wildlings outside, Bran wargs into Shaggy Dog and Summer to kill the wildlings, but they never actually see Jon before he escapes. That's the second.
Yeah, another near miss. Or another near...
No, it's near miss.
Near reunion, I thought.
Almost reunion.
Yeah.
Close happy.
Close happy.
Not wanting Rickon to be in danger, Bran sends Rickon, because again, like every horror movie has taught us, split up, it's safer.
Yeah.
Bran sends Rickon, Osha, and Shaggy Dog to split up and stay with some loyal bannermen. They at least make it to the wall when Sam and Gilly and her baby arrive. Bran is at first distrustful until Sam reveals he knows Jon very well. Sam tries to take them to Castle Black and warn them of the White Walkers, but Bran says they must continue. Sam tells them where to find a stairwell to get past the wall and gifts them the dragon's glass blades he found and killed a White Walker with. After Sam makes it to Castle Black, Castle Rock, he informs Master Aemon of the White Walkers. Aemon instructs him to send out a message to all the Seven Kingdoms. Why the fuck does he just believe Sam about the White Walkers? This entire show, people have been like, I saw White Walkers. You're full of shit. Shut up, fatty. And now he goes to this guy. He's like, get the ravens.
I think all the Night's Watch people kind of know they exist, but no one's really maybe seen one and been able to come back and tell them.
Okay.
I think that's what's going on, because the only place we've been really hearing about the White Walkers that they are talking about it with frequency is at Castle Black. Mm-hmm. They know what's out there, and that's why they take so many people when they go. But yeah, I think it was just like, now they have proof.
Can we kill Rickon yet? He's not doing anything.
Rickon never does anything. I will spoil that for you. Rickon is a completely pointless character.
I hope the mountain picks up Shaggy Dog by the hind legs and just beats Rickon to death with him.
He adds nothing to the storyline. Like, take Rickon out of it and you have this same exact story.
All right. My throat hurts, so why don't you read this part? Can you read from there?
Oh, God. Okay, so now we're at Arya and the Hounds. Melisandre buys Gendry from the Men Without Banners. While they're... I need this closer, actually. Sorry, I'm blind.
I gotta hold it here.
While there, we also see Melisandre and... While there, we also see Melisandre marvel over the man that's been repeatedly brought back to life by beseeching the fire god. There are a lot of typos here. Arya tries to stop her from taking Gendry.
It's not like I do this professionally,
and Melisandre looks in her eyes. Oh, yeah, this is a big one. Melisandre looks in her eyes and says, no, she doesn't say that she will kill many people. She says, I see eyes reflected in your eyes you will close forever.
Yes, you'll kill many people.
Yeah, I know, and then she says blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes.
So I took out some of the poetry, all right?
No, but it comes back.
Blue eyes, brown eyes.
Green eyes.
Green eyes.
Yeah.
Brown-eyed girl.
It comes back.
You, my brown-eyed girl.
Yeah.
When you and I first met and started dating, you constantly threatened to pluck out my blue eyes.
I didn't constantly. I think I did it once over text, but it has been stuck with us. It's stuck with. I think I've said it because.
What would you have done with them once you plucked them? Would you bottle them or?
Yeah, I'd preserve them.
You'd preserve them. You'd want them to look at you from your nightstand.
Oh, that sounds creepy now.
Oh yeah, sorry, I made plucking my eyeballs out creepy.
I don't know what to say. Oh, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Arya escapes the Brotherhood, but only to be captured by the Hound. However, he says he's only returning her to Robb and Catelyn, as opposed to what? As opposed to capturing her.
It looks like he's gonna. Unfortunately, then Red Wedding.
Of course, the Red Wedding. Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah. Her family dies right before their reunion, and she kind of watches like their people die.
Yeah.
Because she's watching like all the Stark men be killed outside.
She sees her brother's body with the fucking wolf's head.
Oh yeah. Oh, the eyes closing, the wolf eyes closing when he died. That was a bummer. They could have not showed that. Leaving the twins, Arya hears soldiers on the road bragging about sewing the wolf's head to Robb's body. She goes over playing coy, asking for food, then stabs the ever-loving shit out of the soldier. The Hound takes care of the rest. I believe the Hound also knocks her out. I think the Hound knocks her out and carries her off.
I don't think he does.
I think he does because he's like, you've seen enough, little one, or something like that.
Maybe.
I think. I'm trying to. It might have been a different point.
There's so much here. My eyes fucking hurt.
Oh my god.
I had to type 1,300 words to sum up 5 episodes.
This is a lot.
This is too many fucking characters.
We should have broken this one up.
Okay. If we could, let's take one character and fold it into a different character.
What do you mean?
All right, I'll put it this way. I like Davos. Davos could easily just be a less buying into all this bullshit Stannis. Every purpose that Davos serves, you could just make a part of Stannis. Like, maybe he doesn't trust this fiery woman.
Here's the thing.
She-woman. What the fuck is that?
Here's the thing. I've said this to you before, and I will remind you of it. The characters who are main characters shift constantly. Uh-huh. So characters that seem like they are not a big deal now, this is actually just character development, and they become a bigger part of the story.
Okay. Jesse's guessy. Sansa marries Davos.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
He'd do good. He'd do good with that. Okay. Davos is returned to the king's hand. He releases Gendry when Melisandre intends to sacrifice him. After befriending Gendry and sharing, they both did they say they come from Flea Bottom?
Yeah,
okay.
It's called Flea Bottom.
I was like, is that? I think that might be a Tolkien place.
They've said it a couple times because that's also where Joffrey got attacked.
Oh,
and that's where Marjorie the poor part, right. the part that would be called Flea Bottom.
Right. So Gendry and Davos are both from the Shire in Hobbiton.
The Dirty Shire.
The Dirty Shire. Oh, that would be like the Dirty South. Imagine the hip hop that comes out of the Dirty Shire.
Of the Shire.
Stannis. Oh yeah. He puts Gendry.
Gendry.
Did you blow that shit at me? What's happening here?
It's all you, dude.
Blendry gets put on a rowboat and sent away. Stannis is about to execute Davos for this. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you thinking about Blendry? Blendry Jarathian.
You know what it made me think of?
It's making me think Blendry Giraffian, and now I'm imagining Gendry as a giraffe.
Arrested Development when he's like, Amy, blame me.
Wait, what is it? Oh, wait, Amy blame me?
Yeah, Job with Amy Poehler. It's like if her name's Amy, I'll call her blame me.
Oh, God. We're never getting through this. That's fine. Oh, God. What if we stopped right now and like, guys, we're reviewing Arrested Development. Okay. Okay.
Amy blame me.
Amy Blamey gets put on a rowboat and sent away by Davos. Stannis is about to execute Davos for this, But Davos has received a raven from Maester Aemon about the White Walkers, and Stannis will need his help to fight the White Walkers. Melisandre notes that all the fighting must stop, and all Westeros must unite against this new threat. Amy Blamey.
Yeah, for once, Melisandre is the one who's got it right.
Right.
She's like, no, we all need to. This is bigger, a.k.a. global warming. Climate change.
Yeah, isn't that like in canon, like George
Yeah,
R.
it's
Martin
the
said, like, yeah, no,
the
that's
allegory,
what this is.
Yeah.
Daenerys has a new boy toy with sexy long hair who is going to be a different actor next season, you said.
Yeah, it's a real bummer for me.
What's that guy's name?
Oh God, Dario Naharis.
These fucking
Dario.
names. Dario. La la la
And, like,
la la.
The problem is when he's like a new character, when he's a new actor, like it doesn't even look like the old character. Like they just took him in a completely different direction.
When does the Mountain, that's widely recognized as the Mountain, when does he show up as the Mountain?
I think soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Half-Board Johnson. I like that dude.
Yeah. I think he shows up soon.
Cool. So yeah, he helps her sack the city. She frees even more slaves. She doesn't do much these 5 episodes either. She frees even more slaves, as is her MO, who all call her mother, and then they lift her up Misa. They lift her up like Nelly Furtado in the I'm Like a Bird video. Go check it out. And very, very white savior-y. But
yeah, a little bit.
Daenerys rules, so whatever. Like, why aren't there any white slaves? Like, where's an old Ireland? Because I don't know if you're aware of this, Perry, but Irish, they were slaves too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware. My people,
Don't
know what's up.
Don't hear them complain it. This is bullshit. I'm making fun of people who say this. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm waiting for Daenerys is becoming such a strong contender right now because they're painting her as like the good one. She's the most morally good one with the most power coming up because she has these 3 dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Like when is she gonna be like Joe Paterno? Like she's been looking the other way at like Jorah fingering Grey Worm or something. I don't know.
Wait, what?
I'm waiting.
Like you're waiting for her, like
I'm waiting for her to have a fault because she's being set up as like so solid for 2 seasons now. She's been like, you will not rape the women and we will free the slaves, and just like, dude, have a fucking character flaw.
Who's to say? Who's to say? Only the rest of Game of Thrones. That's all I can say.
Okay. Finally, Brienne and Jaime. And I'm still convinced I'm missing somebody here,
Maybe.
despite all this, but whatever.
Y'all are over it.
Yeah, y'all are over it. Roose intends to send Jaime to King's Landing, but not Brienne. On the road, it is, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Your face looks ridiculous, too.
Does it look like because you have to judge good jaw?
And with the hair, yes.
What about my hair? My hair looks great. Okay? I look great. I bought my wedding suit to my marriage against Amanda Blamey today, and I look good.
Yeah, you do.
Shout out Kevin at Men's Warehouse. That dude was awesome.
Yeah. RuPaul.
On the road, it is revealed that Brienne's father would not pay her ransom, and the troops are probably going to fuck her and fuck her up, not necessarily in that order. Jaime insists they go back. I don't like this with Jaime's a fucking prisoner, and he's just making demands all the time. And he gets his hand cut off once. That's supposed to be like, that'll learn you.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is that, like, he doesn't know how to not do that. He's always been given what he wants.
But the people continue to give him what he wants.
Oh, well, because they fucking want gold and they know who Tywin is.
I mean, at least it makes sense at this point because his hand's already been... I think if his hand isn't cut off at this point, it's Roose who's taking them back, right?
Yeah.
Roose seems like he's in a lot of different places here.
Yeah, I guess he is.
Wait a sec. Is Roose at the Red Wedding?
Yeah.
How the fuck is he at the Red Wedding and then with Jaime Lannister? Because the whole thing was Jaime Lannister got away.
Wait, was it Roose with him? Oh. Because that was early. They caught him before. They caught him before the Red Wedding.
Yeah. So it can't be Roose with it. We're going to pause this and figure this out. Okay, it was Roose. I still don't remember who the fuck shot the... What the fuck is wrong with my mouth? The Chinese food is fucking me up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, who did shoot the arrow?
Roose intends to send Jaime to King's Landing, but not Brienne. On the road, it is revealed that Brienne...
Jaime shot it, right?
No, somebody else is like... we'll get to it. Okay. And Jaime insists they go back, only to find they have made Brienne fight a bear in a pit. Jaime jumps in and saves her from there, and some third guy shoots them with a crossbow, more or less like, he's my charge now. He needs to get back alive with me. Who the fuck shoots him with a crossbow? Finally, Jaime returns to King's Landing and walks in on Cersei for some sweet, sweet incest action. Most importantly, the preview photo for the first episode of Season 4 shows Jaime with a haircut.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it for my notes.
Okay.
This show's so fucking long-winded. Is this?
That was a lot in a couple episodes, though.
It's just, it's making my eyes hurt just having read that. It's too many characters. There's like... guys, I'm basically where I was back at the beginning of this. Like, oh, a cool thing happens once a fucking episode. Have fun following breadcrumbs for 5 miles every week to have a tasty cake at the end.
I honestly think you're more agitated because we were just reading it. Because you were, like, excited to watch start season 4.
Well, I also felt bad that, like, you and I went longer between episodes just because it took us a while to get to record this episode.
I know, but you were like, I'm actually looking forward to season 4. But I think reading
I want to see the fallout of the Red Wedding.
Right. Well, I think part of the problem, too, is, like, sometimes, like, the bigger chunks work and sometimes they don't. And we had too much going on in the last 5 episodes for that to work. Mm-hmm. You know?
Right. I don't want to do another power ranking because it's different. I mean, in Memoriam, the Stark people,
yeah,
they're out of the game now. Which I guess now it's not really open. It's a little bit shitty. Like now we must stop the war and the 7 kingdoms must unite. It's pretty much only you fighting Joffrey at this point. Still, I mean, I guess there's the Iron Island people, but
plus Daenerys.
She is so far removed from the rest of them. I know,
but eventually she's going to be hitting Westeros.
Yeah.
Like she can't stay out there forever.
She could if she doesn't want to.
Also, don't forget, part of the Game of Thrones is like also the Tyrells. Like they're not fighting for it, but they're a part of it. They're
sneaky. They're kind of...
Yeah.
They're... All right. Here's a fun exercise.
Littlefinger, they're all playing at it different ways.
Here is a fun exercise, and I think I might pause this while we figure out what is which.
Okay.
We need to figure out what house corresponds to what character from The Office.
Oh.
Like, the very first thing I think is the Tyrells are either an Andy or a Ryan. Like, they're trying to get ahead by subterfuge.
I think Ryan is definitely Littlefinger.
I mean, he has the name Little right in there, so that checks out. He's a little more shitty. The Tyrells are clever. But
like
the Tyrells and Andy are kind of like they're playing the long game.
Yes, I think Tyrells and Andy tracks, but I think Littlefinger for Ryan for sure
because they're devious.
Yeah,
they're shitty about it.
Exactly. Don't forget, Littlefinger's playing for the Game of Thrones too. Like, there are so many people who aren't like actively at war who are trying to get it.
Who did we say Dwight would be with?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. This is hard.
Yeah.
Like without thinking about
We're gonna come back next week and we're gonna decide what house is who. That'll be a fun thing. Every episode, let's just pick another TV show to be like. Maybe we could pick out like what houses are what boy bands or something.
What houses are what boy bands? I'd like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Frey would definitely be 5. Baby, when the lights go out, gonna stab your wife in the stomach. Because she's a spy ass bitch. Talisi, all right, Jesse's guesses. Talisi is coming back. I know she's a fucking spy. She's a spy. Cersei's coming back. I will make a Jesse's guessy. That's not like huge stakes. I think season 4 is the season Daenerys crosses the Narrow Sea. She has enough of an army now.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll put some bullshit like, we need boats again because we had them but now we don't.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But like I said, everything kind of like gets paid off.
Give me somebody to make a prediction on.
Jamie.
Somebody's gonna put a fucking arrow between his eyes. I don't know who. There's nobody. The only person. Despite being such a piece of shit, the main people he's been a piece of shit to are gone. The Starks. Arya.
I have a good Jesse's guessy.
Okay.
Who do you think the next person to die will be?
Next major character to die. Let me actually go through. Don't think Daenerys.
Supporting too.
Right. Stannis' days are fucking numbered.
Okay.
He is too unlikable. He's being led around by the nose. I'm trying to see if anybody else. I hope the answer is Bran and Hodor and all of them and Rickon. I hope they find the three-eyed raven and the three-eyed raven kills them all.
What about Osha?
She's
could say
fine.
She's incidental.
Yeah. Jon Snow does a lot of running these episodes. He doesn't really do anything.
Oh, we didn't really talk about him abandoning.
We didn't. Yeah, he abandons them. What was the big
wildlings.
You're not one of us? What's that moment?
When he doesn't kill the guy. Was that it?
Was the guy anyone important?
No, I think he was like a northerner, and like they had to kill him because of some.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the detail we left out. Is Egret puts 3 fucking arrows,
and he rides back.
My baby shot me down.
He rides back. Yeah, he runs away pretty much after Egret defended him. He runs off, and she finds him, shoots him, and then he rides off to Castle Black, and that's where we leave him. Not sure if he's dead or alive. We did. Wow, that was a big part we left out.
Fuck him. Fuck Jon Snow.
So yes, who do you think is gonna die?
I'm curious what happens with Theon, because now they have a whole crew going after him, but like he's irredeemable. He's already fucked up too much. Poor stumpy guy. Like he's done.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I predict Cersei's gonna get a haircut.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, and Frey's gonna get some comeuppance. I just don't know who it's gonna come from.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Roose Bolton is going to have any comeuppance for his part in that.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of Ramsay.
You'll see more of Ramsay.
Okay. Well, I guess that's...
You didn't pick anyone.
I picked Stannis.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't like him, and I feel like he's the most easily particularly now that they're aware of Gendry. Gendry Blendry has been going around enough that he has a big role to play, and I see him taking over Stannis's role when Stannis inevitably dies.
Okay.
Because he has the same claim. He has a better claim than him, honestly. So
Sure.
I think he would fit into that slot very nicely. And I really want to see the story of like the reluctant presumptive heir. All these other guys are all up in their shit. Gendry was like, I'll be fine to be a blacksmith. What's up?
Yeah.
So how does he respond when she tells him that he's Rob's son?
I think he's caught off guard. I mean, I think he's surprised. I think he's surprised.
What would you do today if you found out that we don't have royalty in the U.S.?
None of this works because I'm so clearly both of my parents' children in look and in personality.
It's not about that. It's not about like looks or any kind of suspicion. It's just hard to
even imagine.
Like, what if I found out today that Bill Clinton was my father? That's a possibility. Guys, if you're listening to this in the United States, it's possible Bill Clinton is your father. Man got around. How would you feel? This is where my musical skills came from.
I can't imagine it.
Since my baby left me.
I can't imagine it. That's why I bring up that, like, I'm so much my dad, too, because, like, I can't imagine not having that.
Well, it's down at the end of lonely street. The Game of Thrones, baby. This is going on longer than it needs to.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, what have you randomly just found out? Now, all right, we could take the parentage out of it. Like, find out you're being left, like, a major inheritance by some family member you didn't realize. Like, what do? Do you give it away to charity? Do you try to live up to that new thing?
I would buy a house.
Turns out your long lost Uncle Bill is your long lost Uncle Bill Gates, who has decided, fuck my kids, they're dorks. I'm going to give it all to my long lost niece. Suddenly, you have this opportunity to rise up and take control of Microsoft. What do you do?
Oh my God, that's a lot of power on my shoulders.
Exactly.
It's not that I'm just getting money. I'm also inheriting the company.
The question is, do you try to live up to this new role that has been foisted upon you that you were not aware of? Or do you just, like, cash out and be like, no, I'm happy to keep to my blacksmithing?
I lost that we were comparing this to Gendry. I understand what you're saying now.
Right.
I think I would try to live up to it because I think I would think I could do better.
Okay. Like, what if the Archangel Michael comes to you and says, you are the Messiah? We were wrong last time. Our bad.
Messiah, I'd probably be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, running Microsoft, fine, I'll take that. Messiah, I'm good on that.
You give into that temptation right away.
That's a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. Being a Messiah.
Saving the souls of all mankind while you die painfully on a bit of wood.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, by the time you guys hear this episode, you will have definitely heard a few episodes of I Hate the Bible, our other series going on right now.
Don't worry, I'm not on it yet.
Not yet. I gotta have you on something of the Old Testament. You could read something in the original Hebrew.
Oh, God, please don't make
Baruch
me.
atah Adonai.
Oh, God.
Kosher deli.
Take all.
Oive. Hamana. Guys, that has been season 3 of Game of Thrones. We'll be back with season 4 and all of Jesse's guesses, and we'll also figure out what house is what
office character.
Exactly. As always, I am Jesse Draham.
I'm Perri. What?
Lerner.
What are you doing? Oh,
Draham.
Lerner. Nope. No Draham.
No?
No, you know this. Don't
It's
make me
Perri
do this.
Lerner hyphen.
Bye.
Perri Draham hyphen Draham Esquire hyphen
Goodbye.
Draham. Later, guys.
Bye.
I love you, baby.
I love you too.